What is going on, y'all? We're going to start in one more minute. Thank you for everyone who's joining. We're just letting this credits roll and the all the alerts go out. Let's see who was first. Andy, as always, surprise, surprise. Mike is in the chat. He's also on camera. He'll be joining us soon. So thanks to everyone. We'll be rocking it out in just a minute. Oh, well, I talked through that minute. Let's go ahead and kick it off. You know, time flies. Oh, what is going on, everybody? Wow, I'm blowing y'all out. I did not drop that there. There we go. What is going on, y'all? I'm Frank, KG5AHJ, and we had a great last couple of weeks, and we're going to have some awesome stuff coming along, and you know that time it is. Let's go ahead and play that awesome intro video. Click. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters. You can support me on Patreon. Have crushed dice. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters. You can support me on Patreon. There is a link in the description below. And to all my tankers out there, go forth and conquer. Hey, welcome back. I'm going to go ahead and turn my mic back up since I'm done screaming. I see everybody in the chat. Howdy to all my takers out there. Thank you to every one of y'all who are supporters. I do appreciate that. If you want to go ahead and support me, there is the Patreon link in the description below. And let's bring up my notes because I didn't read my notes last time and I went all over the place. Buy Me a Beer is still active, and if you want, you go ahead and find that link in the description. And if you want to help support the channel, and while you're looking for stuff over at Gigaparts, you can go ahead and get 5% off on select items. You look, there's a link. You click on the link, and it's going to bring you up to a whole page of everything. You get 5% off. Enter Tank at checkout, and that will help support the channel. And of course, I have coins still going strong on over at Grapevine Amateur Radio, and my audio podcast is actually pulling some good numbers this week. I really do appreciate everyone who's downloading and listening to that. I do appreciate it. Putting that out for y'all, and this live stream will be going out on the audio podcast once on this coming Thursday. So if you need to drop and you want to come back and just listen to us in the car, go ahead and do that. Just play it from the beginning because it's better in audio form. You don't have to see our mugs. Um, let's go ahead and bring everybody on here. Y'all are unmuted. Just got to get there. Hey, what is going on? We have a full house. We have Scott. We have another Scott, ham radio for non-techies. So we have Kyle, or Kelly, I'm sorry. And we got Mike, KARMRD. We are talking about the Go Kit Challenge. This coming up this Friday. No, Saturday. Man, it was a fun and long weekend. And we got Scott and Kelly on and to tell us a little about it, and it's going to be a fun event. So, who kind of wants to start? And my first kind of question is, how did the Go Kit Challenge come to be? What was the idea behind it?
Whataburger, 11 o'clock at night, ham radio. That's all I got to say.
I think that's where a lot of good ideas spawn.
I'll let Kelly tell the story. He tells it better than I do.
So it was back a long time ago. It was 2019. I actually went back and looked up some information to see when we got it started. So March of 2019 was the first time we did it. So you figure we probably started discussing this probably after the January meeting of the Denton County Amateur Radio Association.
That was 2 weeks before.
2 weeks before. And so, I mean, this was truly one of those cocktail napkin sketches that turned into fruition. We started out, we got a little money from Denton County Amateur Radio Association for that first year. And when I say a little money, I mean a very little money. We ran it on a shoestring budget. We did it on a instant, hey, let's do this. And boom, we started making it happen. We found a place that was going to give us the city of Denton, allowed us to use one of their pavilions for free, which was great. It was a good pavilion. That first year, it was kind of a rainy event. Mm-hmm. It was cold and rainy. And so having the pavilion was very critical because everyone was still able to go ahead and set up their gear, run some antennas out into the open area. We were able to get some guys on the air. Everybody was able to see what each other had. And that's how it all got started. The next year, we had kind of decided we wanted other clubs to run it. We didn't want it to be a club-owned activity.
Yeah.
So Scott and I have pretty much kept it as basically our ownership, but we've gotten feedback from others and we've gotten support from the clubs. So Denton County did the first one with us financially. Lake Area Amateur Radio Club did the second one, but it was kind of a weird deal because that was some COVID garbage. And anyway, the next one was the Louisville Amateur Radio Association. They were able to do it at LL Woods Park in Louisville. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. A free event. And I mean, they were able to get the facilities for free. And so that has been a real critical thing for us because we haven't created a 501c3. We're nothing more than me and Scott putting an event together every year and making sure it happens and then going to the various clubs and saying, hey, this is what we're doing. We would love for you to help us out and participate. We'll take care of all the organization. We just need to be able to use your name because you are a 501c3. There's certain things that we can do. We can get the cities to help us out with like waiving fees and things like that. So, but that's how it got started.
This year was a little different though.
Tell them why.
Yeah, this year we decided that let's see what we can do without having to ask for help. Because we've got 3 tags here, but we actually have 5 guys that have been participating beyond just Kelly and I. And we kind of decided, let's see how far we can just run with this year without asking for additional from this and that. Well, when we got to the end of it, we had everything all done and it was really cheap. And at that point, somebody goes, well, aren't you going to ask the clubs to participate? So we did. And everything's covered again. So, I mean, that's been the neat part is that all the clubs in the area participate in this. So really, there's not just one club owning it. It's yeah, it's Go Kit.
And so to give you a little better idea of how that worked out this year, as far as the money side, we didn't ask for any money from anybody. One of the club members in one of the clubs said, "Hey, Kelly and Scott are paying for this out of their pocket. Would the club be willing to donate X number of dollars to help reimburse?" And that club, of course, voted yes. The next club, that word got around, oh, they're helping Kelly and Scott do their thing. And so the next club got a hold of it, and they ponied up some money. The next club took some explanation, but they were kind enough. So honestly, I mean, it's the Denton County Amateur Radio Association, the Lake Area Amateur Radio Association, and the Louisville Amateur Radio Association that have made it to where really there's hardly anything coming out of Scott and I's pockets. So it's really neat to see the ham radio community come together and the clubs work together for the benefit of the hobby itself, not just the benefit of the club.
Mm-hmm.
Intercompetition. That's been the cool part.
What kind of expenses are you guys having to deal with? Is it like renting facilities, or are there prizes involved in this challenge?
This year there was the pavilion cost.
Okay.
We decided that we wanted to go bigger than what we did last year. Last year, the facility that Kelly got last year, he was able to work a deal, and we were able to get that free of charge. This year, we had the facility cost as well as, we're actually going to give away the lot this year. If you
wow.
Actually, first, second, and third for Go Kits, and then one for mobile. But yeah, like the main prize has been free of charge, including the dog tags. This was donated by one of the previous winners. There is a radio that is a giveaway. I won't say what it is, but it was donated. So I mean, the cool part is we've kept it so there's not a lot required monetarily to do this.
Yeah.
That's good. And that way, then if we get stuck having to pay for it, then it's not a bunch out of our pocket. It's something that, yeah, it's not going to break the bank. But it's been neat to see how the clubs have all worked together to make sure that it's covered, it's funded. And I will say, I think they enjoy what's the proper words to use for when they start bantering back and forth about whose is going to do this. And I'm trying
a little bit of trash talking, maybe.
Oh, not a little bit. That started about a month ago, and there's been a lot of trash talking.
I mean, I started before we went live about how I'm going to be winning. So, I mean, I'm going to throw my box in the challenge and see what happens.
Which I love it.
Naturally, everybody thinks their box is the best, I would imagine, because it's, you designed it for yourself to do what you want to do. But how many guys are you having participate in this on average in the last couple of years?
How many we had last year, Kelly?
So, well, I can tell you the first year we had 8.
Uh-huh.
Was very excited about 8 for something that took us less than 4 weeks to put together and publicize. And
it was raining. It was raining.
Yeah,
it was raining. It was the weather was nasty. We didn't publicize it very widely, mainly just those 3 clubs, just because those are the 3 clubs that Scott and I are members of. Plus, it was an inaugural event. We didn't know how it was going to go, what it was going to do. So that one started real small. Last year, I believe there were 21 entrants, maybe.
Wow.
Not including vehicles.
Yeah, last year, I mean, even though we had vehicles there and there were some guys showing their vehicles off, we did not have a category for vehicles. This year, we're going to have a category for vehicles, so you can show off your mobile installation. We've got a couple of guys that, they've got Jeeps or whatever that are outfitted almost like a command vehicle for one of the.
Oh, wow.
So
we've got one guy that isn't even a ham, that he's just an enthusiast that showed up with his entire rig, and it looks like a deer stand when he sets it up on his trailer.
Yeah.
Huh. He just really likes antennas, huh?
I think every guy that was there with the Go Kit spent some time touring that thing going, okay, I need this.
Well,
I really need
he
this.
was into overlanding, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly, and he
Now,
was interested in ham radio and how he can incorporate radio to his overlanding kit struct build. There, that's the right word. And he struck up conversations with everybody.
I saw him last week. Yeah,
Mhm.
last week at a Dakar meeting, and he is planning on being there with his vehicle.
Sweet.
Now, has he got his ham ticket yet? He's studying. His comment is it's going slow, but he's studying. And I said, well, if you get your tech license, I'll throw you a mouth phone. That way you can do the mobile category, right?
You shouldn't stop him. He should buy the radios and antennas now, get them installed, so when he gets that ticket punched, he can stop operating the same day.
Yeah.
Well, when you get your call sign in the FCC. Blah, I went blank. I'm not even drinking yet. You mentioned the clubs, the 3 clubs. I linked them earlier. If no, that'd be a question for later. But it was the Denton Club, the Lake Area Amateur Radio Club, and the Louisville clubs are all helping to participate this year. What I did put the descriptions below, and thank you to them. Where's it going to be held this year?
This year we're doing it in the city of Highland Village. We're going to do it at Doubletree Ranch Park. It's right off of I-35E. If you would, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Yeah. Should be able
And
to.
we'll pull that one up. There you go. Doubletree Ranch Park, Highland Village. It's 310 Highland Village Road. It's right off the edge of I-35E on the shores of Lake Louisville. We've got us a nice pavilion there. So we've got the pavilion, which is a great place in case we do run into inclement weather. We need to hide our stuff up under there. But we've got a huge field that that will allow us to set up antennas and that kind of stuff. So where is that map? Let's see.
How you got your email showing?
Well, that's okay. We'll get there.
I transitioned as fast as I could off of it.
No, you're fine. I'm not. There's nothing on there that interests anybody. And if you want to go ahead and pay my credit card bill, knock yourself out.
let me throw mine in there too.
Yeah, really. So this is a picture of the park where if you, let's see, is my cursor on there?
Yep.
Okay. So this is Doubletree Ranch Park right here. This is the pavilion that we'll be using. There's the restrooms. Our plan is some of the clubs are bringing out some of their equipment to show off. We're going to let those guys park over here along this outer edge.
Mm-hmm.
Right here in front of the pavilion, we're going to go ahead and have those mobile entries set up. And then we've got all of this parking around here, down in here. And because there's going to be so many people showing up, we've got all of this parking over here. I'm a little over optimistic, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll have a place where they can pull up and they can unload right here in front of the pavilion, bring their stuff in. But we've got all of this grass area right out here where guys can set up their tables, they can set up pop-up shelters, they can set up their antennas, whatever they want to do, however they want to do it. So a lot of neat stuff. You got kids, this is a playground right over here. The splash pad right here is currently under reconstruction, getting ready for the summer season. So it's out of service right now. We got restrooms right over here. So we picked this, and I'm going to zoom out some. You can see there's I-35E. This is Garden Ridge Boulevard, if you're familiar with that southern part of Denton County. Any of you that have ever been to Sneaky Pete's for a little partying, it's right over here. So that gives you an idea of where things are and how that's situated. So here's, we're going to zoom out a little more. I-35, this is the 121 toll road down here.
Keep going out until you see DFW for the marker that we all know. The big airport. There we go.
All right, so there's the
Ooh.
airport,
Yep.
and here's where we are. So you're talking about
Oh,
7
okay.
miles north, almost straight north.
But it's centrally located too. It's in between the three cities. That was one of the other reasons that we kind of like. We liked last year's because it was really in a nice spot. But this year we're kind of like, let's put it in the center. And one of the previous winners recommended this location. Kelly drove out there and said, "Oh yeah, we got to have this."
Yep.
It looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Great location. I'm really excited about it. Not to say that it's a permanent location, because we want it to move around wherever it might go. I'd love to see, say somebody from the Dallas club come in and win it, and now we've got to do it over at White Rock Lake or up on Flagpole Hill. I want it to go other places. Hey, even if you guys down in Hearst want to win it and take it down to Hearst, or take it over to
Mike's trying to take it to Houston.
Well,
Houston's too far. Just come to Huntsville.
Okay.
Hey.
I don't know if I want to go to Huntsville. I've got
It's pretty dangerous here.
The humans do for a reason.
There's a prison.
Are you wanted?
I refuse to answer that. But no, but that's what we want to do. We don't want to lock it up into one place. I'd love to take it out to some of these smaller clubs in the rural counties and give them an opportunity to shine too, because it would be great for, we've got this huge contingent of ham radio operators here in the Metroplex. But what if we took some of those ham radio operators and all the knowledge and all the skills and all of the information that we have, and we took it out to some of these rural clubs and shared that with them, and at the same time we get to learn from them as well. And that's really where GoKit got its challenge. I'm going to let Scott tell you what made us come up with this idea in the first place.
I didn't have a GoKit. Neither did Kelly. How do you get guys to show their GoKits or their mobile rigs or anything off? Post a competition. So they bring them out, and we're going, "Oh, cool. So that's how you do it."
I can't imagine it being too hard convincing a bunch of guys to show off what they made. It's just...
literally, that was the entire motivation for doing this. It had nothing to do with creating a contest. It had to do with, I didn't have a kit. Neither did Kelly. And how do you go about building one? Because most of the clubs at that point in time weren't teaching how you put together a battery, how you put together a kit. Now, I can tell you, just in this last 2 years since being involved in that up here, huge resurgence in all of those skills in the clubs.
Yeah.
Because now they're teaching, how do you build a multi-celled LiPo battery? That happened yesterday at I think it was Louisville Club. They were out there welding batteries. And there's a bunch of this stuff that when you start seeing just a little bit of that, and you're going, cool, now this is taking off, and we're starting to see some of those skills grow. Fox hunting.
Great.
This year we'll have a fox at the event. Why? Because, fox hunting exploded up here again now too.
Wow, that's great.
So we've got guys that are coming out of the woodwork with the stuff that they're building, and we're going, so that's how that's done.
I think a badge of honor amongst most hams is that we love showing each other new techniques or how to overcome obstacles that are in our way, and we love showing off our gear. You put those two together, it's a cocktail for success.
Well, and you think about it, most of the time, if you're in Aries, you're in Races, you're in CERT, the only time you're going to see that gear is when you're going out on a deployment. Do you have time to sit and study how somebody put that together during that point in time? You don't. And this way, you can get it out, dust it off, make sure before storm season that it works, as well as we get a chance to look and see what other guys have done so that we can replicate or improve or do whatever from there. And it motivated me to build mine this year. Yes, it's here. Is it in its final stages? Oh, no. That's the one thing I've learned. These are never in their final stages.
Now, you guys said your first year you had 8 participants, and then the second year you tripled that to like 21 or 24 or something like that?
The second year was actually the COVID year, so there wasn't an event.
Okay.
Yeah. KC5LL got an automatic default dog tag, but he also donated a cup, so we're not complaining. Yes, Larry, I said the default dog tag. Actually, no, he won the first year. Why? Because Kelly made him actually explain how his kit worked.
I made him make it transmit.
Yes.
There you go.
So poor Laird was in that cold, wet weather that first year, setting up an antenna out in the rain, or not in rain. It was one of those nasty, cold, misty things. But anyway, but
That's more realistic though. And,
well,
and
exactly.
and you're gonna have more situations where you have a really not perfect weather, not perfect not perfect conditions, and you gotta be able to set your gear up and be able to communicate.
Right. And so so the third year, I think when Louisville did it, I think they had 16 participants. Then we bumped it to 21 last year. This year, man, I don't know. The sky's the limit.
I've heard that there's a contingent coming out of Dallas with gear. I've heard Mike's coming. I've heard rumors that there's guys coming out of Cowtown and bringing gear. So, I mean, sky's the limit this year.
You guys might have created a monster.
I want to see all the boxes.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, if you have a go box and you're not coming to this thing, you're not a real ham. I'm just saying that.
I want to say
Shots fired.
Yeah. I want to say something else about that though, because we've had so many people that have said, "Oh, but I don't have my kit ready yet, so I'm not going to come out."
Bring it.
Absolutely not. We want you to come out, and if you've got a kit that's partway done, bring that partway done kit. No, you're not going to win first prize, obviously, but what value is there when other hams are coming and looking at your stuff going, "Oh, you know what would be really cool in this kit?" Or, "Hey, this is really great, but if you did this," or if you don't have a kit at all. I mean, remember, that's how it started, was we didn't have kits. We wanted to get ideas. We did not want to reinvent the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
So we stole ideas from everybody else. That's what we do.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and the fun part is we don't really know what the rules are for this until about 2-3 weeks out. And we kind of keep it that way on purpose, because if we let you know what all the rules are, then you may or may not show up. And
What would be some examples of rules from the past?
prove to me that your radio works.
Okay.
That should be a given.
That's
No, we've had guys
That's kind
that
of
showed up
important.
without an antenna. So that is a example of a rule for this year. Is,
okay.
show me your radio works, and that's the big key with that.
So let's go over kind of how the event's laid out. When I attended, everyone there got 3 tickets. And the whoever wins is whoever has most tickets in their bucket. So when you walk around, you give a person a ticket that you really like their go box or their kit. So everyone votes on whose box they like, and those are how the winners are chosen.
Correct.
Did I say that right?
Yes.
I like
That's
that.
pure out of
That's a good way
memory.
doing it.
That was so last year.
We
That was
do have
still
one
last
guy that said he was going to bring margaritas,
Yes.
and how he was going to gain the most tickets. The margarita making go kit is a unicorn. It's a myth. We've heard about it for 4 or 5 years now. It is yet to be shown. I have not gotten a margarita even before or after this event as a bribe. So, yeah. Will it be there this year?
Maybe a rule for entry is you got to bring margaritas to pass it out.
So this kind of circles into a question in the chat from Eric. How big the go boxes can go and how simple they can be, and can I bring my Jeep? So let's talk about kind of you mentioned before categorizations. What categorizations do y'all are having?
Two.
Two.
We have 2 categories, a go kit and a mobile. I've only got 1 prize for mobile, only 1, because our real emphasis is go kits. We have a first, second, and third for go kit, and it's people's choice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how big is your go kit? How little is your go kit? I don't know. That's up to you, because it's your go kit. It's not mine.
Now,
And the public votes.
is this limited to like kind of rigid box type go kits, or somebody posted in the comments, like go bags? Do those count as well, or
Bags,
Okay.
tents, backpacks. We saw the backpack last year. Frank saw that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still blown away by the guy's backpack. He got everything so condensed in there, including a table and a chair in that entire thing, along with his radio and antenna. Now, was the pack heavy enough that I wouldn't try a soda with it? You bet. I'm not carrying that pack up a summit. But it was quick enough he could go from his rig a mile or two down to the lake and deploy right there next to the lake. And he had shelter and everything right there.
Mm-hmm.
One of my things during that event was to go down and say, and his name was Frank.
Hi.
I walked up to Frank and said, show me that this works. This is really cool. And he's kind of like, oh, I don't know. And I'm kind of like, well, he sat there and made a contact to Colorado and California on his battery with the kit right there in the park. And he's going, wow, I didn't know I could hit California at this time of day. But I mean, that's half the fun of this, is sometimes the guys don't even know what they've got sitting there. I can say he's been out multiple times with that entire setup over this last year. I hope to see the same thing again.
So a quick recap for some people joining late. I'm seeing the same question a couple of times. The event is going to be held this Saturday, coming Saturday, at the Doubletree Ranch Pavilion. The link to the Google Maps is in the description. And what time does it start? Did we say?
We're going to start at 8:00 we'll start showing up at 8:00 in the morning. Give everybody an opportunity to set up. You don't have to be set up at 8:00 in the morning. That's when we're allowed.
It is to your advantage to set up at 8:00 in the morning, though, because it is a people's choice event, and if you blow it off, you're going to get less tickets.
Good point.
Careful, you're gonna have people showing up at 6 now, throwing stuff up.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I will not be there until 8.
8:00.
So if you show up and start setting up, it's on you, kind of thing. But no, 8:00 from 8:00 to 1:00 is when we have the reservation for the pavilion. So that's what we're encouraging everyone to do, is start showing up around 8:00. And then say around 11:00, we'll really start doing the judging and seeing what's working and what's not. Around 12:00, we'll announce the awards. We'll do the drawing for the radio that's going to be given away. So, yeah.
I've threatened that if your radio doesn't work, I'm going to share your tickets with everybody else.
and describe how's the people choice is going to work. So when you show up, what happens?
When you show up, either Kelly or myself will give you some tickets, just like Frank talked about earlier this year, that we did last year. We'll give you some tickets, and you walk around, look at all this stuff, and if you like the guy's kit, drop a ticket in the cup.
So each entry will have a cup in front of it, and you'll go through, you'll see the kits, take a look at all of them, talk to the guys that have put them together, have them explain to you why they did what they did, why they chose the parts they did, and make your decision. Put your ticket in the cup, and at 11:00, 12:00 in that area, we'll drag all the together. We'll count everything out, and we'll make our awards at that point. Hi, kitty. We'll make all of our awards at that point.
Mike's mustache got bigger.
Yeah, but that's how we do it. We're encouraging everyone. Some guys, they've got more than one go kit put together. We're encouraging them, bring out whatever you have to show it off, to share that knowledge and information with others. But choose one of your kits that you're going to enter as for the competition.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody's going to win first, second, and third prize.
No.
So you think?
Go ahead, Scott.
Is Mike going to steal cups?
I don't need any cups.
I
Unless it's Lord Stanley's cup.
I heard from somebody this afternoon that he's bringing a go kit that's prepped for satellite. And I mean, there's some of the stuff that some of these guys are doing that I'm just going, whoa. We had a guy, was it 2 or 3 years ago, Kelly, that showed up. I guess it was the Louisville one. He showed up with a mobile car that was meant for assistance out in the Panhandle.
Mhm.
I mean, he had layers of stuff layered into this car, everything that you might need food wise. That's really when we started formulating the idea we've got to do something with these mobiles, because some of these things that are showing up are very impressive, and we need to kind of pat them on the back for what they're working on, because this is cool.
Yeah, the gentleman with the Jeep had a very simple build out, and it was working at HF setup in his Jeep, but he had plans of doing so much more with it. And I remember he had even a second battery that he can had a hard switch that he
Is
can
this
turn
the one
off.
you wanted to buy really
Yes.
bad?
Yes.
He
I-
still hasn't sold it.
I offered him to go get a cashier's check. He did not take me up on it.
He will be back this year,
Yes.
and he has made upgrades to that Jeep and to his kit, and is still continuing to make additional changes. So right now, in fact, one of the conversations I believe Scott had with him, he was like, "Well, I'm not going to bring it because it's not completely finished yet." And
It's never done.
you bring it and share with everyone those ideas and what you're doing, why you're doing it, share that knowledge and information. And at the same time, we've got guys in the clubs that are electrical engineers and RF engineers. Let those guys help give you some advice for some of those more technical aspects as well. So, it's the whole idea is it's a teaching and a learning experience for everyone, is the way it really should be.
Mm-hmm. And let's reiterate that you don't have to be a ham radio operator to come out and check this stuff out. If you're learning about amateur radio and just want to dip your toe in here, come hang out, and then if you're just interested, come hang out and say hello. We'll definitely get you paired up with someone to walk you around and show you what's going on.
Absolutely. Yes. And the whole thing, free, open to the public, completely free of charge. Anybody that wants to come up and ask questions and get more information, that's what it's for. So not only is it an opportunity for us as ham radio operators to learn from one another and share with one another, but by doing it out in a park, it's open to the public. People are going to just be there. And you have those opportunities, and I promise you someone will come up and go, "What are you guys doing? What is this?" And
we had what, 6 or 8 of those last year?
Yeah, that opens the door for us to talk about everything from emergency preparedness to international communications to electronics technology, RF technology, whatever it is, and you find what it is that person is interested in. It may be an 18-year-old that says, "Oh, I don't want to talk to anybody," and then you tell them, "Oh, well, did you know that you can do everything over the computer, but instead of doing it through the internet, you're doing it through the airwaves?" And they're like, "Oh, really? I can." And find those key things. Say it's someone that's very much into community help and emergency preparedness from that standpoint, or just community activism. You can focus on that aspect of it and share how ham radio does that, whether it be bicycle rallies and things of that nature, or you can go with the Skywarn type stuff and talk about storm spotting and that kind.
That's how I got into amateur radios. Total
It gives you
Skystorm.
it gives you that pathway to talk to people and bring them in and share with them on their level and show how whatever it is you're doing, so the kid that says he doesn't want to talk to people, but he doesn't have a problem sitting down in front of a keyboard, well, that's when you take him over to the guy that has a full WinLink set up and is doing FT8. The guy that wants to do emergency communications on, say, a Skywarn or a disaster type level, you take him to the guy that has the HF rig where he's able to talk from here to Austin at the EOC directly. so you got to find those things, but that's one of the things that Go Kit Challenge gives us the opportunity to do, is we see all this wide variety of equipment out there and its capabilities, and we can share that with the public.
Heck, Rex is asking, will you be smashing the worst entry with a watermelon hammer like Gallagher?
It's a sledge-o-matic.
I was just thinking outside the box here. You're talking about, you want to see all this gear and equipment, the way people come up with things, but to make it a challenge, maybe offer up a practicality division. How practical? Anybody can stuff a whole bunch of stuff into a box. How practical is your kit? If a tornado is coming this way, can you get set up and do something? Get it, get it active and mobile and ready to go in a certain amount of time. And how practical is your kit to get it set up?
That might be an idea for next year. Do an obstacle course. Run over to the other side of the field and set up and see who can get on the air the fastest.
Can it handle getting kicked down the street?
We have kicked around in the past just for the fun of it. Doing a radio Olympics. That was the second idea that happened that night, and yeah, it hasn't occurred.
Like putting on your back and going around a 1 mile track or something?
Yeah.
No, it's like going out and finding a fox, and then the fox telling you what next to do or where to go to next to get the next clue. And you could be playing this all day long.
I did that to Mike.
That's something that we talked about, playing the entire metro in something like that. Did it grow? We've talked about it.
Well, you say, did it grow? If you think about what the White Rock Amateur Radio Club is doing in Dallas, where they have 2 foxes that they put out, and I'm trying to remember what the names were, but they named them.
Is this up in the Richardson area?
No, this is
the White Rock Amateur Radio Club,
Okay.
and it wasn't Beavis and Butthead. It was Bullwinkle.
Bullwinkle and Rocky
and Bullwinkle. And so what they've done is they've got Rocky is a wide area fox. So what you do is you go and you target Rocky first. Once you find Rocky, you get the frequency for Bullwinkle, and then you go track down Bullwinkle, and it's a much lower, and so Rocky, I think, is on VHF, Bullwinkle is on UHF. So yeah, in a way, they've kind of done some of that, and it's neat to see how the different clubs. And I got to tell you, that's one of the things I like about our digitally speaking net is we have included clubs from all over the Metroplex.
That's all over Texas.
Yeah, we use All-Star. We're connected from the W5NGU repeater in Denton to the K5RWK in Richardson to the W5AC in College Station. And so we're able to learn what these other clubs are doing and what kind of activities they have, so that ham radio operators, regardless of where they're located, it's not that big a deal to go from Denton County over to Richardson. It's a 40-minute drive if you've got traffic. So, it's just that kind of thing helps bring the ham radio community together and expands it to where, one club, I sometimes talk about clubs having personalities. And you might have one club that's full of extra class CW operators. And then you might have another club that has a bunch of technical guys like electrical engineers, RF engineers. So if you think about the clubs over around Richardson, where they've got the telecom corridor and they've got Texas Instruments, they get a lot of those type of operators. You come out to Denton County, you have a lot of guys that are very involved in Skywarn and emergency communications. And then, over in the Colony, Lake Area Amateur Radio Club, they're very big into contesting and CW work. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on. And by bringing all of these clubs together, it really does help make a difference to expand that knowledge base for ham radio in general.
Well, what better way to enjoy your hobby other than play? Because really, I don't know about the rest of you, but I learn the best when I'm playing at something and having fun.
Yep.
And let's go play radio. That's why the guys are out doing POTA. That's why they're doing SOTA. They're out enjoying their radio, not just we're just going to put it on a shelf here and turn it on and take pictures of it. We're going to play with our radios. We're going to take them out and do something with them. And that was one of the main emphasis that I liked about the idea was, let's go out and play with this stuff. Let's go out and use it in an environment that's not in my office. Yeah, my office is getting too small.
Well, by doing that though, you're also going to find out where your shortcomings are in your gear.
Yes.
And what needs to be, what has room for improvement.
Yes.
Where you can, I need more of this or less of that, and it just helps you fine tune your kit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, one question was asked earlier, the Hamburg trophy. Yes, there it is right there. What is the traditions around it?
Kelly, you tell the story.
Oh, so one of the guys found the cup and decided that was the trophy, and so actually it was Laird, KC5LL. KC5LL. It was the year after he won it, so he won the first year, and the second year his club, Lake Erie Amateur Radio Club, was going to host it, and he decided that there needed to be a trophy. And so he found the Hamburg Cup, and I don't recall the exact story if it was
his coffee cup.
It was his coffee cup.
Yeah.
And he decided to make that the trophy. Then the next year, Scott Croft,
N5FKU.
Yeah, thank you. N5FKU. He decided to go. He goes, well, we need to be able to track who these winners have been over the years. So he started doing the dog tag. So each dog tag has the winner and their call sign, and I think the year that they won. And he's agreed to go ahead and just continue doing that each year as we progress. So, yeah, but that's the story behind the Hamburg Cup.
That's very
now
cool.
With something as valuable and coveted as that cup, does that come like the winner? Does that come with like a security team? Like I'm a big hockey guy. They take the Stanley Cup around. It's actually a replica of the Stanley Cup. Is that kind of what you guys have done, or does it sit on my shelf for a year and then go back? How does that work?
Sits on your shelf for a year, and then I come repossess it
Okay.
just before the next one. And if you break it, I bring it to the super glue and watch you put it back together.
Your confidence, Mike. You're going to be walking home with it this weekend. It's amazing.
I mean, that's been kind of the fun part is it's a cup. And yeah, so far it's survived each of its.
Now, has it been washed, or is it like the original dude's germs and stuff are still on it, and that's how it carries its legacy?
It's clean.
Okay.
That was the first thing I looked at this year when it came home. Is it clean?
I imagine so many hams partying out of that when they win. The champagne is flowing.
It's not a communal cup. We kind of joked about that a little bit earlier today, Scott and I, because I told him, I said, well, it's a coffee cup. I didn't think you were supposed to wash those. And then I kind of got off on a tangent. So Scott Croft, the last winner, the last possessor of that, he was in the Navy. So I said, well, of course, it's Navy, so they had to wash it. I said, hell, if Scott had been in the Air Force, he would have spit shined and polished it before he brought it back. So, it never would have had a drop of coffee in it. But anyway, no, I mean, the whole idea behind it, I mean, when I say we do it on a shoestring budget,
we do.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't spent hardly anything. I remember the first year, I don't remember what it was that put this little idea in my head. I sometimes get these weird ideas, and everybody's talking about participation ribbons. So went on Amazon, ordered some really pretty parchment, got it sent in, and I created a participation ribbon and gave one to every single person that showed up the first year. And I don't have the file anymore. I think Laird is the only one that still has the certificate mounted
on his wall. Because it's on his wall.
Yeah. but you know, it was a very sarcastic, tongue-in-cheek of, you know, they thank you for participating and blah blah blah, and it was, you know, one of those big, you know, a whole big deal out of something that was absolutely nothing. You know, the whole thing was put together not as some sort of a formal competition with a whole lot of rules and regulations. It was really meant to be just a fun opportunity for everybody to get together and talk and play and have fun.
It was self-serving. It was
totally was.
Completely. We wanted to see their kids and had to figure out a way to get them to show us their kids. I'm not kidding.
Oh, that's awesome and fun, and I love the cup keeps on coming and everyone's names go on it. I love it all. We're almost at the top of the hour here, so let's just kind of go ahead and go around the room real fast. Scott, Kelly, do y'all have anything you want to promote other than this awesome thing? Where can we go to find out more information and anything else?
We don't have a website.
Oh, hey, I know someone here that can help you.
We don't even have social media this year. Although it is probably something that will happen this next year. It's like we add something to it every year. If you win, maybe you get to be social media guy next year.
You get to.
You get to. You know, and that's how we've kept it really light and mobile, is that we just, I won't say we created on the fly, but I mean, that's how it's been run over the last several years. Do we need a formal website? Yeah, we probably do. We're on our fourth. So it's one of those, maybe it's time to get that done.
He mentions that, and it's funny. I've got a list in one of my notebooks somewhere that says stuff to do after Go Kit. And
build another Go Kit.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Upgrade the radio.
Of course, yes.
It's never done.
TV in it somehow. No, on my list of things to do: create a formal logo, create a website, create a social media presence. There's a couple.
Download the pictures from your phone from last year.
Yeah, that's another. You know, and by doing that, that gives us an opportunity to turn around and promote others, because now you've got a website and a social media presence where you're able to link back to, you know, Tank did a video last year, Michael Porter,
Getting Out in Life.
Yeah, Getting Out in Life. I was trying to think of his call sign, but
KF5LDJ.
Yeah, there you go. KF5LDJ. So, you know, giving an opportunity to, you know, for us to reshare those videos through social media platforms for Go Kit Challenge, and at the same time helping to promote other ham radio operators in their endeavors to further the hobby. So, you know, it's just it's all stuff that can be done. It's my biggest concern is that I take something that we can put together in a matter of a month or two and turn it into something that now it's become almost a year-round piece of work. And I don't know that I want it to be work. I like it loose and fun and easygoing.
I think you captured that perfectly so far. Well, I'm looking forward to the weekend. Mike, you're coming up here. You'll be joining me, and you're going to come out, and you're going to enter a kit.
I'm upset I didn't make it out last year. I don't think I knew about it in time, but I'm very excited to come up. I mean, when I first got into amateur radio, there were a lot of people building these Go boxes. And like I still to this day will watch videos on Go boxes because it's always neat to see, you know, how people have designed it and all that stuff. But I do, Kelly, I'm sorry, I do hope this gets really big, because I think this is a great way to be creative. It's a great way to be interactive with. I mean, you already have 3 clubs together. I just think it's a great thing for amateur radio. I really love this. Yeah. So good on you guys for making this happen.
We're still having fun.
That's the name of the game. It's just amateur radio. It's just about having fun.
So, Mike, where can we go to find you and more information?
I don't know, YouTube. Just go to K8MRD radio stuff.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome.
And I do portable stuff. I'm building more battery boxes right now, so those should be out in the next, probably by the end of the week, I hope.
You can bring some up with you.
I probably could actually. Yeah.
We're bringing rings out with us.
You're bringing what?
Some more rings out with us.
Rings?
Oh yeah, the rings that you advertised at Belton last year.
Oh, yes. the sky hook.
Yep, the skyhook and the
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, those things are neat.
And then I heard there's the gentleman that has some gator cases he's going to bring out. And if you have a reason you don't have a kit because you don't have a case, he's probably got some cases he's going to let go.
There you go.
Nice. I still like the backpack idea, so I can throw it over my bag or my back and walk for miles. Scott, my man, thank you for coming on to help me out. And where can we go to find you and more information, man?
Oh, that's simple. You can go to hamradiofornontechies.com or type in HR4NT in Google. I show up on the first 2 pages. You can find me on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. If it's out there, I'm probably on it.
So if y'all are looking for social media support and web pages, that guy.
It kind of looks like you're pointing to me on the Zoom window. But I know
I'm
you're
trying. No, yes, there. It's all weird. And
I know a
lopsided.
little bit about web design.
A little bit, man. You need a. I've been saying you need to help me get my page up and going. I'm adding the redirect right now. Coming up next is going to be we're going to play with Arden and tunneling over at Jason's Ham Radio 2.0, and of course I'm Frank KG5AHJ Tank Radio. Let's just do a quick rundown real fast. The event is going to be this Saturday, the 18th, coming up, starting at 8 o'clock. That is, be there at 8. Don't show up any earlier because I think I looked up, the park is closed and technically doesn't open till 8. So 8. And
yeah, that's 8 a.m.
8 a.m. Yes. Oh, perfect.
Oh,
Boom.
my sheet says 9, but it's 8.
Yeah. At the Doubletree Ranch Park, there's 2 categories. There's a mobile category, and then there's just go kits in general. 3 winners. First place, second place, third place. Mike and I will be there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait. And to all my patrons out there, thank you for supporting the channel and making all this possible. And to everyone else, you're awesome just swinging by and hanging out. And thank you for Scott and Kelly for swinging by. I can't wait to see all this coming Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Frank.
No problem. And to everyone else, go forth and conquer. Bye.
Hi, everybody.